Welcome to my first tank build. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name. In this video number 3 we'll be working on parts 4 and part 5. First off we'll open up the E-sprue, and these are parts of the gearbox on the front. Another hot day in the my den here. 30 degrees inside, 35 outside, and air conditioning going flat out. Now take out the two gearboxes. These look very similar, but there's a left and a right hand, but luckily Trumpeter in their wisdom put L&R on the back so we can make sure they go the right way, because the locating pins are the only difference between these ones. You also need to, as per the instructions, to cut up I think about 3 or 4, 3 on each. Locating pins have to be cut off, leaving just 2. Now starting to put the parts together after cleaning up. Small touch of extra thin. Luckily they only go on one way. I'll get it right yet. These reverse tweezers are a great help. Transfer it over. I've got 4 sets of these reverse tweezers, and sometimes I use them all. That one's got that one in the right position. There's a small gap, but that can be filled up with some Mr. Surfacer. You can see the small gap there. Okay, now I'll go and do the second one. Not going to show it because it's exactly the same, just more fingers. Now I get to put that same part I just finished onto the actual gearbox. Just try fitting it to make sure I know where it goes. It fits on there quite nicely. Hold for the mandatory 10 seconds, but just run some extra thin to work its way in along that joint. And I would just repeat that for the other side. Now comes the fun part. I fiddled with this for about 15 minutes before I figured out what I was doing wrong. I was trying to put the bulkhead on before, trying to put the gearbox on before the bulkhead, and I just couldn't locate it. Then I woke up, the bulkhead goes on first. And it fits quite nicely. Some of these small mini pegs to hold it in place while I glue it up. There are a couple of pieces of plastics on the bottom of this bulkhead in the on the bottom lip, and I wasn't sure whether they came from the sprue or not, but I couldn't see, so I just left them, and if it comes to be a problem later on, I can file them down. Just a touch of extra thin to wick in along the joint and just hold it down for the mandatory 10 seconds. Bit longer though. I'll reinforce that joint on the inside where it can't be seen. Just a little touch of extra thin on those 2 points. There's actually projections there. There's a lip there so the top panel can come down over the top. Now I can fit the gearboxes. Make sure you get the right side. And there is now 2 locating pins, not just one, or locating holes, sorry. And they just clip in when they're in the right position. You hear a click. Finish that one. Now I do the same with the other side. The other 3 guys are just about finishing their tanks. I'm not part of the group build, so I don't have to finish it in a month. Because spending too much time in this heat drains you. I'm not the young buck I used to be. Sometimes I envy the guys back home with their cool winters. I really miss winter. Didn't think I'd ever say that. Got those 2 done. Now it's time to do the rear bulkhead. I did something wrong, I think, when I put the axles on this. I'm not too sure whether I didn't seat them properly or whatever, but there is a very slight gap. And no matter, I got in there with a sanding stick and tried to file it down, but it didn't seem to make any difference. So I've done something wrong, but it's only less than ½ mm gap, which I can fill up with putty. And just on that axle joint there, I can't say anything wrong, but I did something wrong. Finally remembered to turn the light on. I need a white light there instead of the soft light, so off to the hardware store again. It's an LED one. I used to have incandescents, but oh gee, did they get hot. Sitting there thinking about it, but it's not going to make the gap close up. You can see that small gap there, just won't push down, so I must have done something wrong. I hope it doesn't affect the fitting of the tracks. Now we start on part 5. We cut off all the pulley wheels. There's 2 parts that go together. They need to be painted in the desert yellow in the hub, and the outside is the black rubber. So I'm waiting on, can't paint these before I put them on because I'm waiting for a liquid mask. I can't slip down to the local hobby store because it's 600 kilometres away. So I've got to wait to see if I can find the right one, and if I get it wrong, it takes another fortnight to get something. No, it's just a matter of sitting and waiting. This is part number A22. Not sure what they are. Called return rollers. I'll just show the one of these going on. There's 10 of them, so it's just more of the same. There's one in place. Now to do the other 9. We'll now put the rollers together. There's 2 parts. Try fitting them. Yeah, typical trumpeter, they go together nicely. Followed Peter's hint with these rollers, using the after painting in the priming desert yellow, and then putting liquid mask in the centre hub, so you can quite easily paint the black rubber on the outside. Now there's 8 of them to go. I won't show them all, but just one. And parts 6 and 7. Starting on the tracks. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Please click like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. So it's cheerio for now, till next time. Thank you.